polygon modeling tool, which the students will use to individually create objects and then save them and then import them later into a different platform. They could do everything in here if they wanted, but what we're trying to do is combine Google Blocks with Google Tilt Brush. So we have some 3D modeling and then some more painterly aspects to create a richer environment. So these are the tools. This is my right hand, my left hand. As you can see, we're in a vast desert space. And so I'm just going to kind of, demonstrate fairly quickly how some of this works. And so you have some objects here, and you can select the shape. You can make it bigger or smaller. You can change the shape that you want. So say we'll start with I'll try to make a chair of some sort. So I'm going to take just let's select through there. Let's see. And not rotating through. There we go. All right, so we've got a cube, and I'm going to go ahead and just click out a cube. I could have made it bigger or smaller, but I can also make it bigger or smaller later. So, if I squeeze my hands on both hands, I can scale the object up. Now I'm going to start working on transforming it and modifying it. So with the modify tool, I can select faces of the objects. And right now, notice it's kind of free form. So I'm going to undo that real quick. I'm going to lock it into grid mode, which should keep it more confined, again, to axes X, Y, and Z. So I squash that down, maybe kind of quickly change colors. We have a limited palette in here. So I'm going to just touch the object, and that allows me to paint it, although I could determine whether I want to paint surfaces, so paint face. Maybe I could kind of edit a little bit and paint different sides. I can grab by squeezing the handles and rotate it, and notice how it's gotten smaller. Oops, and then I'm going to undo that. So again, sometimes as you're working, you may want to scale up to access faces. You can see on the bottom there, change colors. Let's change the face there. All right, so we've got, that. I can go ahead and make some other shapes. So again, it kind of wants to lock onto a particular grid. Doesn't seem to be quite aligning the way I want. We could probably rotate this afterwards. I'm going to scale it down. Say make it really small. It won't get any smaller, so I'm going to scale this up. And that's not getting any smaller either. So we go even bigger. No, that's okay. It's about as big as that's going to get. And we're going to try to place that out there. I'm going to change the color of it again with my paintbrush. A whole object. Okay, now we're going to try modifying beyond those initial properties. So again, we're locked into a grid, so I can push. There we go, pushing it in a little further on each side. All right. I'm not going to go in any further, but now I'm going to go ahead and extrude it up. Okay, so now I'm going to grab it, and I can now move it. I need to move. Let's try grabbing just that object. Okay, now this is where I want to take it off of the grid mode, so it's not locked in, and so now it's more freeform and not locked in. And I'm going to carefully place it right about where I want it. And with this tool, I can duplicate. You can see I can make copies here. So this is the copy function, and as I select the object, I'm getting a copy and moving it. I'm going to rotate a little bit. So I'm getting slightly off kilter. Try to set it back in there, or possibly turn on grid mode. Although that's, again, it's kind of snapping around now, so we don't want to do that too much. We'll go back to grid mode off. Grab that, and just use kind of our visual sensibilities. And it's kind of fun to let that happen. Now again, I could try to make short shrift instead of drawing out another object. Could select this, and again make a copy, and maybe this becomes the backing of the chair. So we're rotate this. Maybe this here. Overlapping, so it's fine if it overlaps. You can see that's weird. And then again, modify. Grab that face. And this is again, let's go back to snapping mode as we try to, keep that kind of a line there. Cool. All right, raise that up. And again, we need some legs. We're going to go ahead and grab that and make a copy with that button there. So we got an extra copy there. Let's try undo. Undo, undo. Oh, okay. Back down, redo. All right, there we go. Copy. Grab. It's nice. It's on snap mode now. So again, we're going to be aligned and we're going to make another copy. So I'm pressing the copy button right here. And there we go. And another copy. Let's copy, copy. Notice it highlights green when it's ready to make a copy. Snap into position there. Looks a little off from that back one, so let's scoot it over. Similar position. Let's scoot this one over to similar alignment. It's not really lining up quite the way I want, because again of this grid. So we'll go turn that grid mode off and carefully place them using our visual alignment. And again, I'm grabbing, squeezing both triggers, both hands. I'm going to move that one back under there. That one under there. Right, now it's like little tiny versus really big, so we can scale fairly large in this environment. It's really fun. It was a great way to introduce 3D modeling and the idea of what polygons and faces are. So one more copy off of that. There. Lined up there. Now we want to group all this together. So we're going to hold, we're going to squeeze the trigger and see how it's highlighting like that. That's going to allow us to grab and select more than one object. So as we hover them over, now you can see they're kind of highlighted. And then we're going to press that button up there and select the group. And so now the chair's, able to be grabbed as a single object. So again, this is kind of the fundamentals. We're going to go ahead and save that. And it wants to save. It might be saving to my logged in account, or it could be saving locally on the hard drive. In order to have these work to be able to pull into the tilt brush environment, we do want to save them to somebody's account. So it's my account. If students were working, they have logged in with their Google Gmail account and saving objects to Google Poly, which is an open source library for people to share models. My internet's running a little slow, so looks like it's taking longer than usual. So this will be the only thing in that particular file. It might be because I'm not logged in. Nope, I'm logged in, so I'm just checking there. So again, that was kind of simple chair. I'd like to be moving on to something else. This probably will be edited out. Save. Let's go and check back here. All right, I'm going to check and see. I'm going to press this little button, red button up top, right below the saving thing. And here's mine. Nothing's loading. Here's featured. And everything's running really slow tonight. So picked the wrong night to film. Yeah, see all the objects aren't loading very quickly here. All right, Well, so let's imagine that's saved and it'll come back later. Let's see. It's not a terribly large model, so it should not be taking so long.